It is a tough time to be graduating from college. Student loan debts are higher than ever, while jobs with decent salaries are pretty scarce. But our financial advisor, Ray Martin, says there are ways to deal with this whole thing, and he's with us this morning. Ray, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too, Chris.
So this is a tough time economically to be graduating from college.
You know, 2/3 of college seniors graduate with loans, on average close to $22,000 in total indebtedness. And college grads are heading into a perfect storm. You're facing down with having to repay your student loans after they go off deferment. The job market's tough. If you find a job, it's going to be lower paying. And then, you're finding out that if you take a job in nursing, teaching, public service, states are cutting back their loan forgiveness programs. So there's really no help here to help you pay off and get relief from your student loans here, and it's a perfect storm.
So you graduate, you've got all these loans, you owe the government this money, you don't have that job. What do you do?
Yeah, the student loans are one of those ironclad debts here, not like credit cards. You can't discharge them in bankruptcy. The lenders have provisions where they can garnish your wages, take your tax refunds, prevent you getting a professional license. You got to pay something on these, and you don't want to go into default because you'll lose valuable payment relief options. And just don't go and delay the problem by going into grad school and lumping more debt on this. If you can't handle your student loans for undergrad, how are you going to handle graduate loans on top of that? It's a tough situation.
It's basically, there is no way to avoid these things. You are going to have to
pay them.
If you had a to-do list, what would they be?
First, sort through your loans and figure out which ones are federal loans, subsidized and unsubsidized, which ones are private loans, because they have different payment relief options on those. Second, you want to call your lender before you miss a payment here, Chris. You just don't start skipping payments, because if you do, you're going to lose payment relief options. Talk to your lender. Say, I can't make any payments. I don't have any income. What are the payment relief options here? And
you've got deferment or forbearance.
That's the first thing to look at. If your financial situation is short term and you think you'll get a job in a year or so, consider deferment, where you can defer payments for 6 months, a year, even 3 years on federal loans, and the interest doesn't have to be repaid on subsidized loans. On forbearance is where you can reduce or modify your payment or skip payments for a period of time, but the interest accrues on the loans and builds. So these are only short-term options for a while to get you on your feet.
I was going to say that was the one point we want to drive home. This is just a short-term solution. This is not a long-term solution.
That's correct.
Also, you said we've got something new here, and it's called IBR payments. Explain that.
Income-based repayment. This is where you can restructure your payments on your student loans, existing student loans or ones you have to repay, based on your income. It's brand new, starts July 1st this year. And pay attention here. This is where your payment only has to be 15% of your discretionary income. That's your income that exceeds the poverty line. So if you don't have any income for a while, your payment is zero. If you have just very little income, your payment could be very small on income-based repayment. We got a great example here.
I was going to say, this can really cut your monthly payments too if you look into this.
Huge. If you qualify for income-based repayment, let's say you make $30,000 and your total student loan debt is $30,000 also. Under a standard 10-year payment plan, your monthly payment is $350 a month. But if you go down to income-based repayment plan, since your payment is only 15% of your $30,000 that exceeds the poverty limit, then your payment is cut in half down to $170 a month. And if your income's zero for a while, your payment's zero. And as your income goes up, your payment rises.
And this begins July 1, so people really need to explore this. This is brand new.
Brand new. You can start applying for income-based repayment July 1st, and it's a true payment relief program for folks that are challenged in the income situation. And it's a long-term solution here.
And finally, consolidation.
You got many student loans with many different payments. Looking to consolidate those all into one consolidation loan with one monthly payment, and you can stretch out your payment and lock it in over 20, 25, 30 years. Your payment can be much smaller and it's fixed. And if your income recovers in a couple of years, you can make more payments here. It'll cost you more interest, but at least it gives you payment relief.
All right, Ray. Great information as always. Thanks so much,
Chris.
Ray Martin, everybody. For more on student loans, go to our website, earlyshow.cbsnews.com.